Police called a medic, this beat came to me on a stretcher. In the lab, I step to the mic and feel like I'm Dexter. I'm a man, dark world, but I'm still shining like treasure. Yeah, I got joy like ha ha ha. Wait, and I can't wear smiles, that's fake. Then I'm between love and strong. Hate clock says no time for mistakes. Ring the alarm, sirens go off, but I'm calm. My life resides in his palm. Submit to my pops, respect for my mom. Honor them both, so my life will be long. Third time, get the charm of the third strike. Had to.
How's it going, drivers and future drivers? Welcome to Trucking with Ole Snapper. Welcome to beautiful Boise, Idaho. This is where I was at when this was filmed. Gonna do a little bit of backing and do a little demo. This might help some of you, maybe if you already have a license and you're having issues, or you're thinking of getting your license. And I know when I was getting mine, backing was probably more nerve-wracking to me than any part of driving a truck. And to be honest with you, it takes some time. It takes a lot of time to get it. You'll get the basics down of it and a safe way to do it, even not being experienced. But it'll come to you with time. Hopefully this video here will help you out if you're having issues with it. If you're in trucking school having issues with it, it's all in the setup, especially when you first start. Until you learn trailer control and all that, it's all in the setup. I'll do 2 different backs in this video. Do a 45, and then I'm going to also do another 45. But I'm going to run the line on the second one. I'm going to run the line right down the center of the trailer. Show you, if you set up right, you don't even have to see it. You can put that trailer right where you want it if you set up correctly. But that's what we're going to do. Beautiful day here in Boise, Idaho. Let's get to it. All right, as I'm approaching, you want to utilize as much room as you can. So you want to be as far over as you can. It's on my sight side. This is a sight side back. If it was the other way, it would be a blind side back. There really ain't no point in doing a blind side back. You can't teach somebody how to do a blind side back. Blind side backing is just getting out and looking 200,000 times. Move a little bit, get out and look. Move a little bit, get out and look. Now I bring it up to where that line, the outside line that I want to hit, is right even with my sleeper. It's right behind my seat. I turn straight out. Once I get straight out, I turn all the way left to bring the truck back over. Now see, the truck and trailer make a 45-degree angle. All right, that's why it's called a 45. And then from that point, I will back in there. Now if I cranked it over and made a 90, then it'd be different. But this is a 45. This point right here is important. The truck is just a tool. The more I turn the truck, the more sideways pressure it puts on it, like I'm showing the arrow. Now, if I turn the truck the other way, what they call getting back underneath it, the more backward pressure it puts on the truck. All right, so adjusting, that's how you adjust when you're backing in. Do you need to tighten it up, turn the wheel and turn the trailer in more, or do you need to go backward more, so get under the trailer? So you're always thinking of that as you're backing and looking at whatever it is you're backing up beside. So watch as the truck's coming back. Now you see I still got sideways pressure on it there. I'm watching that line. I'm watching the corner of my trailer. Now my trailer's almost straight with it, so I'm going to start getting underneath it. See the truck as I bring it back around? That's called getting back underneath it. If you ever hear anybody tell you to get underneath it, that's what they're telling you. Now I don't like the way it looks, so I'm going to straighten up a little bit and then come on back. So that's what I'm doing right there. I'm trying to get it straight. I'm a kind of perfectionist a little bit. And the longer you've been driving, you'll become one too. It'll drive you nuts if you're sideways with the line. And when I get all the way in here, I'm a little bit sideways with it. And I ended up fixing that later because I just can't set like that. But see, it's just make it and take it. I'm looking at the corner of the trailer. I'm bringing my truck back and forth, working my way back in there. This is basically straight line backing at this point. You're just correcting. You're going back and forth like a snake. You'll work it up in there. And you also need to make sure that, like, say that grass back there, when I pulled up on it, I looked at what was back there, because when I back my tandems all the way up to the curb, my trailer's going to overhang a little bit. So you want to make sure there's not a fire hydrant there, a person standing there. Trash cans sometimes will be there. light poles and different things like that. You want to make sure that area is clear. If it's nighttime, sometimes I'll pull up to it, get out of my truck and walk up back there and look if you can't see it, because sometimes at night you have 2 trucks parked there and you won't be able to see back in that hole. All right, drivers, now that's a 45 back. I mean, just straight set up 45 back. You pull up to whatever it is you're wanting to back up to. You line the line up with your sleeper, turn all the way right. You pull all the way out until your truck is 90-degree angle away from what it is you're wanting to hit. Turn to the left, and then you pull out until your truck is completely straight to the left. You got a 45-degree angle between your truck and your trailer, and at that point you start backing. If you're backing correctly, if you set up correctly, you will not have to turn the wheel from that point. The only turning you'll have to do is getting underneath your trailer as you're backing into that hole. Something else you got to watch for is the trucks and stuff across from you, because as you get back under the trailer, if you're too far out, if you're not watching your other side, you'll end up hitting one of the trucks or trailers across from you. Now we're going to get into the other back, where I lined it up and just brought it down the line. All right, you're going to see me come around here in just a moment, and I'm going to put it right down one of them white lines. White line right down the center of the trailer. And you don't have to see it. It's all in the setup. I bring that white line right to where I want it. And whenever I set it up, the drone's moving a little bit from the wind. I like these drones. You don't have to mess with it. You just set it and go. Wind's blowing about 8 to 10 miles an hour, so you got it bouncing around a little bit. All right, now you can see me pulling out there. I'm going to pull out and turn to the right and come down in front of that line. And I'm going to tell you also, drivers, a lot of drivers, when you first start, you're scared to back in next to other trucks. You want to get off to the side like what I'm doing right here, right? But over time, you'll learn it's actually easier to back into a spot if there's a truck there. It gives you more of a guideline when you're backing. It's like pulling up to a dock. Sometimes I go to ship or receiver and they'll put me down somewhere where there's no trucks or anything, and it'll take me 3 or 4 pull-ups to get lined up straight on that dock. You put a truck next to me and I'll go right in that dock, no problem, because it gives you more of a bearing whenever you're backing up when there's a truck there. Keeps you in line, keeps you guided. Now you see I got that line right there at my sleeper, and I'm going to turn out. I'm going to turn out to the right, and then I'm going to turn to the left, setting up into a 45. See, I stopped right there because I'm all the way out, straight out with the spot. Now I'm going to bring it back over until I'm straight the other way. See, right there, I'm straight. Well, I pulled it a little bit farther than I should have. Now I'm going to back it up and put that line right down the center of that trailer. Now, mind you can't see it when you're doing that. You just line up on it. I'm looking out the mirror. I can see the line at the present time backing up. But once I start over it, I won't be able to see it. But if you set up right, you don't have to. It makes backing so easy if you'll just set up properly. Now, after you've been driving a while, you'll just pull in and set up all kinds of crazy ways. You might pull in straight to it and just flip around and back in there. You might pull out and kind of straight line back into it, or it kind of changes after you get experienced with it. So I'm bringing that line right down the center of that trailer. At this point, I can't see that line, so that's just demonstrate that. All right, everyone, I hope this kind of eases any concerns you may have had about it. It's really not that hard. This is a really nice truck stop, by the way. It's right outside of Boise, but can't remember the name of it. Roadies, I think, maybe. I don't remember, but hopefully that eases any kind of concerns or anxieties you may have about backing. Also, when you first start backing, don't be afraid to take your time. It don't matter how long it takes you to get it in there, as long as you don't hit anything. Your company's not going to call you because it took you 30 minutes to get into a spot. But you are going to have to call your company if you hit something. So whatever you do, don't hit anything. Other drivers may get irritated with it, and they may try to rush you. But you got to remember, them other drivers are not going to be there if you hit something. If you hit something, it's on you, 100% on you. And they don't care. They're just in a rush. All right? They're impatient. Some truckers are very impatient. Don't let their impatience mess up your license. Well, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got some other backing demos. I've got some I've done at docks. They're further back in the archive, but they are there. I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all take care, stay safe, and remember, be good to one another.
Please call the medic. This beat came to me on a stretcher. In the lab, I step to the mic and feel like I'm Dexter. I'm a man, dark world, but I'm still shining like treasure. Yeah, I got joy like ha ha ha. Wait, and I can't wear smiles, that's fake. Then I'm between love and strong. Hate clock says no time for mistakes. Ring the alarm, sirens go off, but I'm calm. My life resides in his palm. Submit to my pops, respect for my mom. Honor them both, so my life will be long. Third time, is the charm of the third strike. Had to.